Hello, my name is Keshwani. It's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to prepare for the GMAT. We have been solving GMAT math problems out of this book here, GMAT Review, the official guide, the 13th edition. If you do not own this book already, purchase one immediately. You're going to need it. The problem that we are about to solve is the one that you will find on page number 277. Page 277, the very first problem on the page, problem number 25, and today is our lesson number 32. Let's take a look at it. We are told that we have this person by the name of Hannah, I believe is how we pronounce it, and we are told that she invested $5,000 at X%. They don't tell us what the X% is. It's just $5,000 at X%. They go on to tell us that she invested a different amount. They don't tell you what the amount is. She invested some different amount, and I'm calling that D for the dollar. She invested D dollars at Y%. So the 5,000 is invested at X%, some other amount is invested at Y%. The question is, what is that some other amount? What is the value of the D? In the first statement, they tell us that her total return was $900. But knowing that her total return is $900 is not enough. We know nothing as to, we do not know anything as to the value of X and value of Y. In order to figure out the D, we need to know the total return, and we also need to know the individual return, the value of X and the value of Y. We do not know that. First statement by itself is not enough. A, D, B, C, E. Since the first statement by itself is not enough, the answer cannot be A or D. It's got to be either B, C, or E. Listen, if you still do not know what I just did here, A, D, B, C, E, make sure you watch this video. Make sure you watch. Just type in my name here, Keshwani, and type in Data Sufficiency Intro, and watch that video, and you will understand the strategy, the logic behind it. The second statement tells us that she invested $5,000 at 6%. So now they tell you the value of X. In the second statement, they tell us that X equals 6%. If X equals 6%, that means she earned 6% of 5,000. What is 6% of 5,000? Well, we know 1% of 5,000 is 1% of 5,000. You just knock out the two zeros. 1% of 5,000 is 50. Therefore, 6% is going to be 6 times the amount, which is 300. So now we know that she earned $300 on the first investment. The return on the first investment was $300, but that is not going to help us determine how much she invested at Y%. That is not enough by itself, which means the answer also cannot be B. It's got to be either C or E. Let's put them together. Let's see if that helps. Putting them together, we now know, from the second statement, we know that she made $300 on $5,000, which implies that she must have earned $600 on D dollars, because we know the total return is 900. The first statement tells us that the total return is 900. So this part comes from the first statement. This part comes from the second statement right here. This is the second statement. This comes from the first statement. Together, the second statement implies this part, and the first statement gives us this part. But we still do not know. We still do not know the value of Y, the rate of return, this part right here. We know that she earned $600. We know that she earned $600 on that investment, but we need to figure out what that percentage is. For example, if we know that Y is 10%, then that will tell us that 10%, if she's earning 10% and her return was $600, she must have invested $6,000. Or if that rate of return is 1%, then this $600 represents 1%, which means she must have invested, let's stick two more zeros here, she must have invested $60,000. Or, for example, if we know that Y is 50% and we know that she got $600, she must have invested $1,200, so on and so forth. We do not know the value of Y. Without the value of Y, we cannot do anything at all. Even putting them together is not enough. The answer is E. The answer is E. We do not know the value of Y. Even putting the two statements together does not get us anywhere. Let's do the next one, shall we? Let's do number 26. Let's do number 76. I need the room, obviously. In the 26, they tell you that the profit from a sale of certain appliances increases, though not proportionally with the number of units sold. What the hell does it mean? Profit, this is 26. Profit increases, but not with the units sold. And we are told that the profit was more than $4 million on the sale of 380 units. Oh, no, sorry. They're not telling us that the profit was more than $4 million on the sale of 380. They're asking us that. The question is, was the profit greater than $4 million? This is $4 million. $4 million on the sale of 380 units. That's the question. Let's first understand what they're talking about here. This is the matter of lingo. This is the matter of terminology. Strictly speaking, my math teacher will tell me that this is not actually a proper terminology that they're using. What they mean to say here, listen very carefully, what they meant to say here is that the profit increases but not strictly proportionally. They leave out the word strictly. They just say but not proportionally. What they mean to say is it's not strictly proportionally. Let's talk about what it means to increase proportionally, or as they put it, or as they should have said it, it increases strictly proportionally. What it means is this. For example, if I sell one book, I make a profit of $2. If I sell 2 books, I make a profit of $4. I sell 10 books, I make a profit of $20. I sell 100 books, I make a profit of $200. I sell 250 books, I make a profit of $500. As you can clearly see here, every time I sell a book, I make a profit of $2, and that never changes. In a scenario like this is what they're describing here. This scenario like this is what they're calling proportionally. Let's read one more time here. Make sure we understand the language. Profit from the sale of a certain appliance increases, though not proportionally. What they mean to say is, though not strictly proportionally. This is called strictly proportional. Strictly proportional. So what they're trying to tell you is that the more appliance you sell, the more profit you will make, but the amount of profit that you will make each time you sell one additional unit is not constant. That's what they're trying to say here. One more time. What they're trying to say here is that the amount of profit that this company will make always goes up every time they sell each additional unit, but the amount by which the profit goes up each time, every time they sell each additional unit, is not constant. Do you understand? But it will go up. In other words, they will never sell something where it cost them, $400 to manufacture the appliance, and they end up selling it for $400, in which case they made a zero profit on it. In other words, they broke even. Or they will never have a situations where it cost them $500 to make the appliance, but they're selling it for $400 because they can't get rid of the bloody thing and they just want to unload it at a loss. In which case, every time they sell each additional unit, their total profit goes down because they lose $100. That's not the case here. The more units they sell, the more profit they will make. That's what it means here. What they're trying to say here is that the more units they sell, the more the higher the profit. The higher the profit. That's all it is. And the question is very straightforward, very simple. Perhaps I'll explain too much. The question simply was, did they make a profit of $4 million on a sale of 380 units? Or do they use the word at least? Did the profit exceed? Yes, they have to make. Did they make a profit of more than $4 million? The first statement tells us that 200. The first statement tells us that when they sold 200 units, 200 units generated a profit of $2 million. Now, just because 200 units made a profit of $2 million, some people might assume that therefore the sale of 400 units will make them a profit of $4 million and so on and so forth. You can't make those assumptions. That will be the case of strictly proportional. This is not strictly proportional. All we know is that the more they sell, the more profit they make. But how much more we do not know. That does not necessarily mean, this does not necessarily mean that sales of 380 units will give profit of more than 4 million. That is not the case. The first statement by itself is not enough. One by itself is not enough. One by itself is not enough. Therefore, A, D, B, C, E. Because the first statement by itself is not enough, we know the answer cannot be A or D. Let's look at the second statement. Second statement tells us just because they made a profit of $2 million on a sale of 200 units does not necessarily imply that they would have had a profit of $4 million, at least $4 million on a sale of 380 units. We cannot infer that. In the second statement, they tell us that the profit that they made was more than $5 million on the sale of 350 units. Aha! If the profit already exceeded $5 million, if the profit already exceeded $5 million on a sale of $350 million, that implies if the profits were already more than $5 million on a scale of 380 units, if the profit were already more than $5 million on the sale of 350 units, that of course implies that the sale, that the revenue, or rather the profit, must have been more than $4 million on the sale of 380 units, because they have already exceeded a profit of $5 million when they sold 350 units, and we know that every time they sell, the more they sell, the more higher the profit. So by the time they sold 350 units, they had already made $5 million. Therefore, obviously, by the time they get to 380 units, we don't have to worry about $4 million. The profit is going to be more than $5 million because they already exceeded $5 million. The second statement is enough by itself. Second statement does the job, and therefore the answer is B. The answer is B. That's all. I will see you tomorrow, where we will continue with the next problem, problem number 24. Alright? Bye now.